Just while we're waiting for our last trustee to come up to the front here, see if you can put your cell phones on tremble.
Yeah.
Tremble's another word for just vibrating.
Yeah, just like an earthquake.
Thank you for being so patient.
Kei raro te tāhuhu o tēnei whare e tūnei. E noho nei, kai te take o ahu mairangi e tū mai nei. Ko tāku e piki ake kai runga i tēnei ngā maunga i konei a mātairangi ka pai tāku titiro. Kai reira mātiu, kai reira mokopuna, kai reira mākaro. Mai i reira katahi ka mea mai, ko wai tēnā waka e u taha mai rā ki te neho o kupe. Te ko wai rā tēnā waka haurua e u mai rā he huhinga tangata kairunga. A tēnā ka mihi atu, mai ngā mana whenua i konei rā, a ki tēnā waka haurua e kia nei ko tā ki timu, a ko kuru haupo, me tōna waka tangata kairunga, tēnei te mihi ki o koutou. Mihi ki o koutou e tau nei, kai runga te karanga, o tēnei tā koutou rōpu e kia nei ko tātou te wairo. Te kō tahari. Ka tika kia mihi ki tēnā o ngā tātou mate, e tau maha nei kai runga ngā poko hiwi. Ka tau mai tēnā manu i te ata nei, a he mate kai runga ki tēnā o iwitea, me ki rā ngā mate kai runga ki tēnā i o tātou e huitahi nei. Ka tika ka mihi, kia māringi hea ngā roimata mō rātau, i takahia i tērā te ara whānui a tāne ki te wāhi e kore o ki mai. Te tini te mano o rātau i haere kai tu atu ki tēnei tau hoki. Nō reira koutou rā haere atu rā. Tangi haere atu rā ka te mate. Nō reira huri mai rā ki tēnei te kanu i hora. Tēnā koutou, whakatau mai rā. Whakatau mai rā ki tēnei o ngā huhinga. E whai nei mai i te wairoa, te tuatahi. A ka whiti atu ki Turanganui a kiwa. Ka hoki mai rā ki here taunga. Whiu atu rā ki Waiariki ki Rotorua. Kai roto hoki, kai raro te marumaru o taupiri, koina ko kirikiri roa. Muri mai tēnā, kai tāmaki makaurau, ina pō, kai papo ia. Nō reira tāku e mihi ki o koutou e whai te takahaere mai rā i o tātu nei, iwi, ngā hapu, ngā marae o te kāinga. Nō reira tēnā koutou. Ka re tōro o tāku nei tū, tēnā koutou e pupuhi nei e te hau. Tēnā koutou e ua hea nei e te ua. A tēnā koutou e whitia nei e te rā. Me kira ka kōkiri mai e tahi atu o ngā hui kai roto i te whanganui a taranei. And those who are here today have decided that this is a better hui than the Santa Claus parade down on Lambton Quay. E take nunu i tēnei. Ko tōna kaupapa, ko tōna take, mai rānoa e timatahia. Mai o tātou nei tipuna e timatahia i tēnei te whakaro me pehea tata. Me pehea tātou kai rote i tarohe o te wairo. Me o na marae, me o na iwi, me o na hapu. Ka tahi ka tū Māori mai rāta. Ka whakatū mai te tahi o ngā rōpu e kia nei, ko te rōpu whakamahi o te wairo. Nā rātou e timatahia i tēnei o ngā haere, kia kōkiri mai, ngā nawe, ngā mū, ngā mengi, te whanakohia o ngā whenua, te whakararu mai a tātou o te wairo. Ka tahi ka whiu atu ki te waka tangata e kia nei ko te tira whakaemi tēnei te mihi kia koe rai e hone. E tai tina mai kai rongo ki tēnā ka tahi ka mihi. Me pehe tātou e kore e tutuki hea, i kōkiri hea e tēnā whakaro i o tātou nei tipuna matatau ngā whainga. Te mutunga o tēnā te tira whakaemi i te tau 2020, ka tahi ka whiu atu. Whiu atu ki tēnei o ngā rōpu e noho nei. Me ona tangata kairunga e ona waka tangata i whakahaere hea ngā mahi ngā tūmanako ngā wawata mai o tātou nei tipuna no reira tātou e whakatinana mai te rangi nei. Tēnā koutou, huri no tēnā tata. You can sing too.
Te whakapono me te animari e tātou
Akati rā, tēnā rā tātou katoa ke au, ki te mihi ki tō tātou rangitiri i tana mihi ki a tātou katoa i tēnei wā. Tai nō ki tēnei mahi nei tāku, ki te timata a tātou hui i tēnei karaki i tēnei whakamoimiti. Uti rā, mi noi tātou. Te māngai ngāne hera pono i te tokoturu tapu. Tēnei a mātou o koutou ponunga i te inoi atu ana ki a koutou. Ki te manaki ki te aki a tātou hui i tēnei rangi nei. Manaki o huki a mātou whānau, a koa no whea i tēnei ao nei, i tō koutou manakitangi i roto i tō koutou ingoa te matua, te tama te wairua, tapu me ngāna hera pono, mā ngai tautoko mai aia nei, āke nei,
Kia ora tātou. My name is Leon Symes, the chairperson for Tātou Te Wairo Trust. Just like to welcome everyone here today to our information sharing hui regarding the final model regarding the representation and asset arrangements. So I'd just like to welcome everyone here and taking time out on your busy Saturdays to watch our presentation and hopefully ask some questions regarding what we've come up with and proposed. So before we kick off into the presentation and that, I'd just like to get each of the individual trustees as well as our specialist advisors that are here with us today just to introduce themselves so then you know who's representing who. If you have some individual questions after the presentation, you want to approach your individual trustees regarding what's going on at my kāhui, then please do so. So I'll pass it over to everyone.
Tēnā no tātou, Piri Munro, Deputy Chair and one of the trustees from Whakakinui Arua.
Kia ora no tātou, ko Bobby McGregor tōku ingoa no te hapu o Ngāti Kurupakiaka. I'm one of the trustees for Te Wairo Tāpokoro 1, and I need to acknowledge Oha Manuel, the other trustee for our kāhui, who's at home at the moment, taking care of business while I'm travelling around the country. Nā reira, kia ora la tātou katoa.
Kia ora koutou katoa. My name is Huia Huata. I'm one of the trustees for Ngā Tokorima Hine Manuhiri Kāhui. The other trustee is Carmen Morale. She's not able to be here today. We're at the stage within our kāhui of putting together or finalising our trust deed. So, kia ora.
Kia ora whānau. Janina Symes, one of two Ngāti Rākau Pāka representatives at this in this forum, and apologies from the other one, Pauline Symes.
Kia ora whānau, he te kaukau. I represent Whakakinui Arua alongside Piri. And just last weekend we ratified our trust deed and our legal entity. So now we've got Te Whakakinui Arua Trust, and within that trust is three marae hapu, which is Whakaki marae, Iwite marae, and Te Rauina. And if you look at the back there, if you want a copy of our trust deed, the Te Pakaki Ruarua Trust, Naomi Wilson should be able to help you. That's our collective kahui at the back. Welcome. Thank you.
Kia ora whānau. My name's Phil Beattie. I'm trustee for, one of the trustees for Tapakarau Tuarua Whānui. My mate can't be here. He's in Canada, I think, Carwyn Jones. So he's tripping away over there. So I've got a bit of a job for on behalf of us. Our kahui is made up of Tākitumu Marae and Hapu, Huramo, Ruataniwha and Tawhiritia Maru. Our sort of boundaries within the township is sort of like at the river mouth. You fellas know as Pilot Hill or Rangihaua. We've got Hapu down there as well. Old Pa down there, Waiopao. So it extends up the river and sort of flows up against Pahauwera's boundary. So we sort of got an invisible boundary as such, so you know where we are. Like Hida said, we've got girls at the back. And on behalf of us, Whanui is Rowena down the back, Christy. So yeah, I was amongst, with other trustees with Te Tira back in the day, and now Tātou. And a bit of a journey with some of our old ones. I come into this through my mother's hapu, Ngāi Te Apiti, so she's a Christy. And so we, and those that have gone too, I would acknowledge Doug Thompson and Pat Cartney, so, our king. So, and we all, I think, throughout the whole claim, these old ones that are gone. So what our mission is for today, what you'll see is, on behalf of all of us, a way forward, so concerning all of our people. So, kia ora.
Kia ora koutou katoa api ata tāpini au. I'm one of the trustees representing the kahui, previously known as the Wairoa Waikaremoana Māori Trust Board, who have led the charge on our behalf during this journey, and that's now transitioning into Te Hononga o Ngā Awa. And once again, we've got some whānau members down the back there, some lovely ladies there who can provide you with some documentation or some more in-depth detail around where the conversation is at. So looking forward to hearing your questions around the 2 years of work that we've put in. So keep them coming and make them hard ones. Kia ora.
Tēnā koutou. My name's Graham Olding. I'm not one of the trustees, so if you don't know me, that's fine. I've been fortunate enough to head up the legal team at Chapman Tripp, who we've been working with the trustees over the last 2 years, coming towards the point today where we're presenting this structure. Thanks.
Tēnā koutou katoa. I te tuatahi me mihi au ki a koe matua papi, ko koe te pāwhakawairua I te rānei, ko tēnei mātou, ko oku matua, ko oku tupuna e mihi nei ki a koe. Kaurina nei ki a koutou, kua whakarau ika mai nei I raro I te whare, I te tuanui o tēnei whare. Ko wai au, ko te wakatapu o te aroa tōku hononga ki Hawaii ki nui, ki Hawaii ki roa, ki Hawaii ki pāmamau. I te taha o tōku pāpa, he uri tēnei nā tawa ke heimoa, ko Ngāti Rangi Wiwihi te iwi. I te taha o tōku māma, he uri tēnei nā whakaue kai pāpa, ko Ngāti whakaue te iwi. Ko Brad Pitt tōku ingoa, he roi a hoki a hau, e mahi ana ki tētahi rangapū I te paina ko Chapman Tripp. Nōku te waimari, nōku te honore ki te tūtaki kia koutou I tēnei rā. My name is Brad Pitt, and I've been fortunate to be working with Graham and with this amazing Puari over the last year to help them put this model together for you. So if anyone has any pātai, either during the session or if you're a bit whakamā, feel free to come and talk to us after at the kaputi. Ka pai, kia ora tātou.
Kia ora te whānau, ko Lennox Love tuku ingoa. I te tahu toku papa, o ko te atiawa, te iwi, ko toku maru te waka. I te tahu tōku mama, ko Ngāti Kahungunu ki Hiratonga te iwi, ko Waimarama te marae. Kia ora, I'm Lennox Love with Deloitte. We've been helping out with the numbers. So like Pani said here, if you've got any questions, either during the meeting or afterwards, happy to tautoko you through this, because there's a good process to go through. So yeah, kia ora koutou.
Thank you, trustees and our specialist advisors as well as introducing yourselves. It has been a long 2 years, but ourselves are being rewarded in today finally reaching this milestone. Also, we've got at the back there, we've got Dev from Admin Services providing special votes. So if checking your registration details, please do so if you're not registered or you just want to check your details with her. And as some of the trustees have mentioned as well, we've got ladies from the Kāhui Collective in relation to Te Wairo Tapokara Whānui, Whakihi Nuarua, and Te Honga Awa at the back there with the individual hui trustees. And again, with live streaming all our hui, a number of whānau can't make these sort of events, so we want to be as inclusive as possible to make sure that they're involved in some way or form. They can participate by viewing the live stream, checking the Q&As, and check and see who's here and seeing if they told you to turn up, that you are here. Some of them have done that. So yeah, please, when you do get to the Q&A session, make sure you speak your name and as well as speaking to the mic so our whānau can hear you online. So thank you. Our, last 2 years have been, we've been accredited of running a couple of key tasks. And one of them initially was to get the settlement over the line through the Crown process. So we managed to achieve that on the 6th of September by coming to Wellington here for the third reading and Parliament just down the road to achieve that milestone. That was fraught with a little bit of a hiccup in the middle there with having to make some trustee changes to accommodate the Crown's wishes to what our trustee should look like in terms of their policies and frameworks. So we accomplished that, managed to get through that process. Everyone who voted, we thank you for doing so. That enabled us to get to the settlement date, which occurred on the 12th of November. So we've proceeded through the process as one of our key tasks to get the Crown out of the picture and then get to this stage where we're able to make the decision on what the final representation and asset arrangement model should look like. So that's where we're at, and that's been our key work stream for the last couple of years. So what we did last year is we came to Wellington and other areas around the countries in two engagement hui roadshows. The first focused on high level aspiration, principles, values, as well as some concepts regarding what a PSG model could look like. And then we came back again last November with a couple of models and got your feedback on those. And part of that feedback involved listening to you as well as looking at other PSG models around the country that other iwi have implemented. And that's where we've engaged with our specialist advisors here to help us pull all that together into this particular model we're presenting. So we're taking your feedback, we're taking the experts, taking what everyone else has done in this space, and then trying to pull this all together. So it's not a simple process, because what we're stuck with currently is the Crown model that the Crown likes everyone to settle with and continue with. And we thought that wasn't, it's not what we are, not reflective of who we are. So we decided to run this process, and we'd just like to, acknowledge the work that Te Tira Whakiimi was doing during that early stage to have the vision to see that, and also acknowledge here, we've got our lead negotiator, John Whangi, here as well, so to acknowledge John the work that previous Te Tira Whakiimi did to get us to this stage. So all that hard work that's gone in and the vision to do that has enabled us to have a point in time where we're able to stop, have a deep conversation with our members. You've elected 14 trustees to represent those interests, and then bring it all together and put it into what you're about to see now. So without any further kind of work from me or words from me, we'll get into the presentation. Health and safety, exits, we'll just wait for any emergency. Earthquakes, we've got to stay in the room. If there's anything else, someone else will come get us. Wharepaku is just out the door here. So on your right, there's the toilets. Afterwards, you would have seen that we're having a kai just down another room just further down. So once the presentations and Q&A is finished, we'll proceed down there. Other than that, take notes, prepare some notes and ask some questions after we've seen the presentation. So we're here to answer them. So your trustees are here as well. So good. So without any further ado, we'll make a start on the presentation and kick into it. Thank you very much.
Tēnā koutou katoa. Nau mai, haere mai. Thank you for joining us today as we take the next step in our settlement journey and vote on our final representation and asset arrangements. We are Tātou Tātou o Te Wairoa Trust, the post-settlement government's entity, or PSG, for the iwi and hapu of Te Rohe o Te Wairoa. It is our responsibility on behalf of our iwi, hapu and whānau to manage the redress that will be received as part of our settlement with the Crown. Tātou Tātou o Te Wairoa has 14 initial trustees elected by our iwi, hapu and whānau who are helping to ensure we build a solid foundation for the future growth and development of our settlement redress. Our initial trustees aim to serve a term of 2 years. Their first term began in November 2016. Our initial trustees are responsible for managing and overseeing a review process in relation to the ownership arrangement for the Trust's assets and representation, our current mahi. Consulting with representatives of our iwi and hapu to decide whether to purchase any properties that might become available during the initial 2-year period. Maintaining records and information that will facilitate the initial trustees' preparation of the first annual plan, 5-year strategic plan and annual report. This presentation covers the key points in your information booklet relating to the final representation model for Tātou Tātou o Te Wairoa Trust. Following this presentation, we will have 30 minutes for you to ask any questions you may have. Ka tahi ka kaputi tātou, so you can meet your representatives and our support teams who are here today. Also, if you are not yet a registered member of Tātou Tātou o Te Wairoa, we can help you to register today so that you can vote. In August and November 2017, we held engagement hui around Aotearoa to seek your thoughts and feedback on our aspirations, values and principles, and on potential models for our asset and representation arrangements. It was great to see so many whānau participating, and lots of new faces too, with many tuning in to watch the live-streamed videos and sending us their messages online. We received invaluable feedback from you during this time, which has shaped our trustees' mahi over 2018. We are now back on a hikoi across Aotearoa, holding a round of hui in Te Wairoa, Turanganui-a-Kiwa, Here Taunga, Rotorua, Kirikiriroa, Tāmaki Makaurau, Te Papaioia, Te Whanganui-a-Tara, me o Tautahi. We are presenting exactly the same information at each hui, which will cover a recap of our settlement journey to get to this point, and how we will manage the settlement redress, including how kāhui representation and our unit trust model will work. The hui will be an opportunity to ask all the pātai you have, and also, if you haven't voted online or by post already, to vote on our representation and asset arrangement model and trust deed changes via special ballot box. Your vote is really important to us. Remember, it is you who will determine if we can move forward with the proposed final asset and representation arrangements. It's you, our people, who ultimately decide on the future of Tātou Tātou o Te Wairoa. Our settlement journey began more than 30 years ago when our kaumātua first lodged historical treaty claims with the Waitangi Tribunal in the early 1980s for the area between Turanganui-a-Kiwa and Mohaka, the Wairoa Inquiry District. Ultimately, our whakapapa and whanaungatanga helped us to work together. Our iwi, hapu and whānau eventually formed into a single large natural grouping under the name of Te Tira Whakaimi o Te Wairoa, made up of 7 clusters of iwi, hapu and whānau groups across the district. It took years of intense discussion, consultation and negotiation to finally get to our deed of settlement and PSG, Tātou Tātou o Te Wairoa Trust ratification, which our iwi, hapu and whānau confirmed in 2016. Our official deed of settlement signing ceremony was held in Wairoa on the 26th of November 2016. The iwi and hapu of Te Rohe o Te Wairua Claims Settlement Bill had its first and second readings in Parliament on the 20th of December 2017 and 15th of March 2018 respectively, which were well attended by whānau. On the 6th of September 2018, we celebrated the third and final reading of our settlement bill in Parliament. This was an historic occasion for our iwi, hapu and whānau, and the culmination of many, many years of hard work that our tipuna started. Our settlement gained the royal assent on the 13th of September 2018 and is now law. We are now here today to present to you the final representation and asset arrangements for Tātou Tātou o Te Wairua Trust. You are being asked to vote on the following special resolutions. The adult registered members resolve to amend the Tātou Tātou o Te Wairua Trust Deed as set out in the marked up trust deed entitled Revised Version November 2018. And approve the unit trust model as the asset and representation model for the Tātou Tātou o Te Wairua Trust. The Trust needs to pass this special resolution so that we can have an agreed representation model and way of managing our settlement assets. The Trust asks all whānau to review the proposed representation and asset arrangement model and then to vote yes to approve the special resolution. The special resolution must receive at least 75% support of valid votes cast for it to be passed. The current trust deed, ratified in August 2018, has been updated to reflect the proposed final representation and asset arrangement model. The marked up trust deed, entitled Revised Version November 2018, can be accessed on our website in the Documents section. If the special resolution does not receive the required level of support, the current trust deed, ratified in August 2018, will stand and a new set of trustee elections will be held. What it really means is that we will lose the opportunity to move forward that our iwi, hapu and whānau have been waiting for so long. Whānau, our ultimate goal has been to move as quickly as possible through the legislative process to complete Crown involvement in this part of our journey and move into a position of holding our destiny in our own hands. We are pleased that we have achieved this, and it is now solely up to our iwi, hapu and whānau to make the big decisions on our future. This is an exciting time. It's you, our people, who'll decide on the final asset and representation arrangements. Your participation in this vote is crucial to a successful future for the iwi and hapu of Te Rohe o Te Wairua. The voting period is open from Saturday the 3rd of November to 12 p.m. Monday 26th of November 2018. The Independent Returning Officer, elections.com, is running this voting process. All adult registered members of Tātou Tātou o Te Wairua are eligible to vote. There are 3 ways to vote. You can vote by post, online, or by ballot box at these hui. For voting inquiries, including requests for replacement voter packs, please contact the election helpline on 0800 666 946 or, for overseas residents, 0064 377 3530 or email iro@elections.com. What happens after the vote? We expect to receive the results within 1 week of vote closing. The Trust will notify all members of the outcome of the vote, so keep an eye on your email as well as the Trust's website and Facebook page for updates. If the Trust achieves the required support for introducing this final representation and asset arrangement model, the Trust will make the required changes to the trust deed and new kāhui Tātou Tātou representatives will be elected by the end of March 2019. The Tātou Tātou representatives will be the directors of the corporate trustee of Tātou Tātou o Te Wairua Trust. Our new Tātou Tātou representatives will focus on finalising Tātou Tātou o Te Wairoa 5-year strategic plan, which is in draft form at the moment. A consultation process will be run next year amongst our members so that we can get your feedback on this important document. At our engagement hui in 2017, we presented some possible models for the future structure of Tātou Tātou o Te Wairoa for you to consider. We discussed how these models could be applied separately or parts taken from each to create a final model. You told us what you thought of the models presented to you and why, what aspects you liked and what parts you didn't like, and what further detail you needed that would enable you to make an informed decision. We have listened to your views and those contained in further information gathered and have brought them together to develop a recommended final representation and asset arrangement model for the future structure of Tātou Tātou o Te Wairoa. It is this final model that you are being asked to vote on now. If you vote yes to this model, and we strongly encourage you do, this is how we will manage the settlement redress received on the settlement date, 12th of November 2018, to benefit our iwi, hapu and whānau for generations to come. Our recommended representation and asset arrangement is 7 kāhui, cluster groups, each with a legal structure in place in order to be a unit holder in Tātou Tātou o Te Wairoa Trust upon settlement. A unit trust model, with each kāhui holding units in Tātou Tātou o Te Wairoa Trust. We had to consider which model would deliver more immediate benefits and greater control of income derived from the settlement for the kāhui and our iwi, hapu and whānau right from the outset. But we also had to incorporate parts of key strengths of existing PSG models around collective mechanisms of asset management and economies of scale through keeping the principle intact while allowing for kāhui seeking independence to be enabled to do so without the need for further Tātou Tātou trust deed changes or special resolutions. We have looked closely at all other PSG models of a similar size to Tātou Tātou and how representation and delivery of benefits to their members is undertaken. However, none of these models are believed to be an appropriate, identical match for the management of our settlement redress due to our circumstances. We are unique, and we need a unique model for our settlement that is tailored specifically to the needs of iwi, hapu and whānau. This is your opportunity to vote on the final representation and asset arrangement model that will help shape the future of our tamariki and mokopuna. The unit trust model reflects a combination of the concepts and models presented to you in the August and November 2017 engagement hui. It incorporates a combination of both consolidated and diversified asset ownership, where the principal settlement is kept together and income derived is either reinvested or distributed to kāhui. In regards to being grouped by kāhui, the feedback we have received is that many whānau think it's best to continue on the path that we have forged through the settlement process so far, being grouped by hapu for representation, then coming together under one umbrella group. Many whānau say they are used to the kāhui structure and feel that it is fair that each group can elect its own representative as trustees on the board. That way, each smaller group's voice is heard, but overall, we are stronger together as one. So, after considering your feedback, the initial trustees recommend we continue with the existing kāhui representation approach for Tātou Tātou o Te Wairoa Trust. Let's now take a close look at the key features of the unit trust model and how the kāhui representation will work within it. All this information is contained in the information booklet from page 14 onwards. So how will kāhui representation work? First and foremost, under the unit trust model, each kāhui needs to have a structure in place in order to be a unit holder in Tātou Tātou o Te Wairoa Trust. there are several requirements for a kāhui structure to stand. 1. It needs to be robust and have clear provisions around the appointment of its governors. 2. The structure may be charitable. However, if it is charitable, it will be restricted to charitable activities. If your kāhui does not have a structure in place currently, it is recommended that a discretionary trust is set up to represent your kāhui on Tātou Tātou o Te Wairoa Trust. A template trust deed has been prepared which can be aligned to the specific needs of your kāhui. This can be accessed on the Documents section of our website. It takes approximately 3 months to set up a discretionary trust. More information around the rules of operation for discretionary trusts can be found on page 17 of the information booklet, and we can answer any pātai you have on this after this presentation. If you already have a structure in place to represent your kāhui, your options are 1. To continue using your current structure upon settlement date. 2. To set up a discretionary trust as another entity using the template trust deed. 3. To incorporate aspects of the template trust deed into your current structure by amending your current structure's governing documents. The current trust deeds for the various kāhui who are establishing a new discretionary trust to hold units in Tātou Tātou o Te Wairoa Trust can be accessed on the Documents section of our website. Let's take a look at how kāhui are represented on Tātou Tātou o Te Wairoa Trust. Each kāhui will elect one representative to Tātou Tātou o Te Wairoa Trust to be its Tātou Tātou representative. The elected Tātou Tātou representative will be a director of the corporate trustee of Tātou Tātou o Te Wairoa Trust. We'll talk more about how the corporate trustee works soon. Each kāhui will have a representative beneficial entity which will hold units in Tātou Tātou o Te Wairoa Trust. Each beneficial entity will hold the same number of units initially. 1 unit equals $1 of financial and commercial redress, excluding the value of the interest received as part of an initial distribution to kāhui. Now let's explain what having a corporate trustee means. A corporate trustee is a company which acts as the trustee of a trust. The people who would have been trustees of the trust are appointed as directors. As mentioned before, the elected Tātou Tātou representative will be a director of the corporate trustee of Tātou Tātou o Te Wairoa Trust. We recommend having a corporate trustee for several reasons. 1. It reduces the administrative burden on the trust. What this means practically is that authorised person or persons can bind the trust, instead of all trustees having to sign contracts. 2. It provides protection for trustees and their whānau. Legally, trustees are personally liable, and this can put them and their whānau at risk. The establishment of a corporate trustee provides a layer of protection for those directors who are tasked with this important mahi for the trust. The establishment of corporate trustees is a common approach for a trust managing assets of a significant value, including PSGEs. For example, Ngāti Whātua Ōrākei and Ngāti Porou both have corporate trustees. We think it is important to our values to include a charitable trust arm as part of the unit trust model. This charitable trust will hold 2 units in Tātou Tātou o Te Wairoa Trust. The focus of the charitable trust will be to run charitable activities for the benefit of the members of the iwi and hapu of Te Rohe o Te Wairoa. Equally, we also need to have a part of the trust dedicated to running our commercial activities. Our commercial arm will be managed through a commercial company and board. When we look at board representation on the commercial company, we must ensure this board is separate from the Tātou Tātou board. The Commercial Board will prepare a statement of investment policy and objectives, which includes the parameters under which the commercial company will operate. And the Commercial Board will make investment decisions within those parameters. The SIPO must be approved by the directors of the corporate trustee of Tātou Tātou o Te Wairoa Trust. When we look at who sits on the Commercial Board, we recommend that a minimum of 5 directors will be appointed and removed by the corporate trustee. At least one member has to reside in the Wairoa district. Directors will have their remuneration set by the Tātou Tātou Board on a fixed fee basis. They will be appointed for a 2-year term initially, then every 3 years thereafter. All directors may be reappointed for a further term or terms. An appointment process would be held to replace a vacancy more than 6 months out from expiry. Where a vacancy existed within 6 months of an expiry, the vacancy would remain until the next appointment. Appointments will be made on a best person for the role basis. That is, they must have the ability and expertise to maximise returns that will either be reinvested or distributed to kāhui. To ensure the best candidate for the role, selections for candidates will need to be done in consultation with a suitably qualified independent agency. What happens to our forest asset? Our forests are treated separately within the unit trust model and are run by their own limited liability companies due to our shared interest with our neighbouring iwi. By the 5th anniversary of the unit trust model being ratified, the beneficial entities representing kāhui with interests in the forests must enter an agreement outlining their interests. If a beneficial entity becomes independent, they will receive shares in the relevant forestry company in proportion to their interest outlined in the agreement. We will discuss some long-term financial forecasts for the unit trust model later on in this presentation. But at a distributions level, part of the interest accrued will be distributed to each beneficial entity over 3 years from the date the unit trust model is ratified in proportion to their units. From the 4th year on, distributions will be made corresponding to the unit interest in December every year at 40% of profits. If a kāhui did not want to receive some or all of their annual distribution, then this could be held by Commercial Board for up to 6 months. A kāhui could also reinvest some or all of its distribution with Commercial Board that would result in increased units for that kāhui. There are set rules when it comes to deferred selection properties, or DSPs. The beneficial entity of a kāhui may choose to purchase a DSP during the first 3 quarters of the DSP selection period for the relevant DSP, after which the Commercial Board may purchase the DSP. Where only one kāhui has an interest in a DSP, that kāhui may notify the Tātou Tātou Board in writing that it wishes to purchase it and work with Tātou Tātou Board to go through the DSP process. The Tātou Tātou Board will instruct the Commercial Board to purchase the DSP and transfer it to the kāhui or its nominee. Note, under the deed of settlement, there's no provision to nominate another entity to purchase DSPs. Where there's an overlapping interest in a DSP, all the kāhui with overlapping interests must establish and nominate a joint entity, which they must determine their respective interests in, to purchase the DSP. They must then notify the Tātou Tātou Board that they wish to purchase the DSP jointly, then work with the trustee to go through the DSP process. The Tātou Tātou Board will instruct the Commercial Board to purchase the DSP and transfer it to the joint nominated entity. The price for a DSP will initially be satisfied by the Commercial Board and on transfer to the kāhui will be satisfied by a payment of cash, through a redemption of units or a mixture of both by the beneficial entity representing the kāhui. Where a beneficial entity has not exercised its right to purchase a DSP during the first 3 quarters of the deferred selection period, or no kāhui has an interest in the DSP, the Commercial Board will be able to purchase the DSP. Rights of first refusal properties, RFRs, will have a similar process to that of DSPs. Where an RFR is triggered, the Tātou Board will notify the kāhui that has indicated an interest and work through the process together. Where there are overlapping interests in RFRs, the Tātou Board will notify the kāhui that have indicated an interest, and these kāhui may establish a joint entity to purchase the property. Where a beneficial entity does not confirm it wishes to purchase the property within a certain time frame, the Commercial Board will be able to purchase the properties. Together, all these features make up our final representation and asset arrangement model. Now let's take a closer look at the kāhui relationship with Tātou o Te Wairoa Trust. As explained earlier on, each kāhui will elect one person to be its representative on Tātou o Te Wairoa Trust, the Tātou representative for that kāhui, and a director of the corporate trustee. It is important that the relationship between Tātou o Te Wairoa Trust and each kāhui is two-way. The Tātou representative will report to Tātou o Te Wairoa Trust on the kāhui activities annually. Equally, the Tātou representative will report back to the kāhui on Tātou o Te Wairoa Trust's activities annually. When it comes to appointing kaumātua as and when required, the kāhui will appoint one kaumātua to the Kaumātua Council for Tātou o Te Wairoa Trust. In the engagement hui in 2017, we discussed whether there should be the option for a kāhui, or a rōpū as it was referred to then, to leave Tātou o Te Wairoa if it decided that it wanted to be independent. Under this final representation and asset arrangement model, it is proposed that the kāhui may become independent from Tātou o Te Wairoa Trust via a special resolution vote. 75% of adult registered members in the kāhui must validly cast a vote in favour of the special resolution to ratify independence. A beneficial entity that has become independent may rejoin Tātou o Te Wairoa Trust, but it will need to purchase new units at a minimum of 5 million to do so. The Tātou Trust deed needs to be amended to reflect the kāhui independence option. This will be done as part of this vote. There are several key principles achieved through the kāhui independence process. High voting thresholds ensure fairness and a robust process. All adult registered members of the kāhui can vote on the exit, which ensures transparency. And time limits mean that the Tātou Board has certainty going forward. This is due to a kāhui only being able to trigger an independence request within the set time periods. Becoming independent will mean that the beneficial entity representing a kāhui redeems its units in Tātou o Te Wairoa Trust for cash and shares in the forest companies. However, a kāhui will remain a part of Tātou o Te Wairoa Trust in perpetuity because Tātou o Te Wairoa is the PSG for the single comprehensive settlement with the Crown. The cultural redress received as part of the settlement will always stay with Tātou o Te Wairoa Trust, as this is what is contained in our Deed of Settlement and Claims Settlement Act. An independent kāhui will no longer have a trustee representative on Tātou Board, but it will remain connected to Tātou o Te Wairoa through a formal agreement including rights to purchase RFR land and how cultural redress matters will be handled. The amended trust deed will set out the process by which a beneficial entity can become independent from Tātou o Te Wairoa. You can read more about the kāhui independence process on page 19 of your information booklet. Now that we've covered off how the unit trust model will be structured and how the kāhui representation will work within this model, let's take a look at the long-term financial benefit of this type of model. Over the past year, your initial trustees have engaged experts to undertake detailed financial modelling of the unit trust model to assess the likelihood of its financial viability in the long term, and so we can be sure that the iwi, hapu and whānau will benefit. We've looked at costs, return on investment, risks and relevant qualitative factors based on 2 scenarios. You can take a detailed look at the financial modelling on pages 20 to 25 of your information booklet, but we'll also go through this in some detail now. Scenario 1 is where we remain as tātou collective for at least 25 years, where all kāhui manage their assets collectively. Scenario 2 is where one kāhui leaves the collective at a defined point in time, for example after 5 years, and manages their share of pūtea individually. Underpinning all of this were several guiding principles: to mitigate risk, to preserve options, to ensure decisions by consensus, to ensure accountability and transparency that is fair to all parties involved and that involves arm's-length decision-making. You can read more about these guiding principles on page 21 of your information booklet. Now let's take a look at each modelled scenario. Under Scenario 1, all kāhui invest collectively for 25 years. This includes the forest asset with an estimated value of 6.035 million. The forest asset itself is estimated to generate 3% lease income and 1% capital gain per annum. An initial asset allocation of 40 to 60 between growth assets, low-risk assets has been modelled. A final asset allocation of 60-40 between growth assets, low-risk assets over 6 years. This happens once a broader range of investment opportunities are assessed and the collective has greater certainty over the investment term, asset classes and risk appetite that kāhui are comfortable with. Under Scenario 1, cash income and capital gains are expected to grow over time as a result of compound interest and reinvestment. Distributions have been modelled as follows. Initial 3 years of distribution consists of the total 7.4 million of net accrued interest distributed to kāhui. This is indicated by the dark purple columns in the diagram. Each kāhui receives approximately 1 million spread over 3 years if they retain all the units in tātou o te Wairua Trust. There is no distribution of the portfolio's profits in the initial 3 years, with 100% of earnings reinvested into the portfolio. From year 4, distributions policy is set at 40% of earnings, with the remaining 60% being reinvested into the portfolio. This diagram shows the potential cash distributions for each kāhui over 25 years based on these assumptions. The next 2 graphs illustrate the potential growth in the collective portfolio, diagram 3, and share allocated to each kāhui, diagram 4, over 25 years. It also shows how the income is split between costs, distributions and reinvestment. At the end of year 25, under the modelled assumptions, the initial 113.4 million portfolio capital could grow to 244 million in aggregate. This includes the 6.035 million estimated value of the forest asset. This is an increase of 130.6 million. At the end of year 25, the initial 16.2 million portfolio capital per kāhui could grow to 34.9 million in aggregate. This is an increase of 18.7 million. If any kāhui decide they want to leave the Tātou Tātou collective, we are keen to provide the right information to ensure they understand what this means from a financial and investment perspective. We have modelled scenario 2 on the basis that a kāhui becomes independent in year 5. All kāhui initially invest in the Tātou Tātou model for 5 years, as per scenario 1. At the start of year 6, one kāhui becomes independent. Asset allocation and distributions remain the same as under the Tātou Tātou scenario. However, there are costs to becoming independent. On becoming independent, the kāhui, for example, might incur a cost of $250,000 that includes a contribution to legal, valuation and structuring costs as shown in this diagram. The kāhui is also assumed to incur their own management costs to operate the fund of $450,000 per annum. This is $300,000 per annum greater than the kāhui share of the operating costs of Tātou Tātou o Te Wairoa. So we can compare the two scenarios on the same level, the kāhui is assumed to invest in the same investment mix. That is, 60% growth assets and 40% low-risk assets with the same returns. It is important to understand that the kāhui that has become independent may face practical constraints in order to achieve the same result as scenario 1. It may be harder to achieve the same asset mix as the collective, as the smaller investment capital, approximately 15 million, compared with more than 100 million, may restrict the accessibility to invest in certain asset types such as private equity, commercial property, farms and businesses. It may also be more difficult to achieve the same level of diversification, which results in greater risk exposure to single assets compared to the Tātou Tātou collective scenario. Assuming the same asset mix and distribution profile, the portfolio income of the kāhui that becomes independent may be less than what could be achieved if the kāhui remains in the Tātou Tātou model. This is due to the compounding effect of higher operating costs as shown in this diagram. Kāhui capital could grow from 17.3 million to 26.1 million. But this is 7.1 million lower than the modelled result of remaining in the Tātou Tātou collective. This is because of the higher operating costs of the kāhui. To reduce the difference, the kāhui could invest a greater portion of their capital in growth assets, reduce costs while preserving capability, or reduce distributions. The purple dotted line on this graph shows the level of distributions modelled by staying within the Tātou Tātou model. By comparing the level of distributions between scenario 1 and scenario 2, this is approximately 100% greater than those achievable under the independent scenario. Now let's recap. We are holding this hui so you can better understand how the proposed unit trust model and kāhui representation will work. We want to ensure you are fully informed before you vote on the special resolution. It's up to you, whānau, to decide if we can move forward with the final asset and representation arrangements. We strongly encourage you to vote yes to the special resolution to 1. Amend the Tātou Tātou o Te Wairoa Trust Deed as set out in the marked up trust deed entitled Revised Version November 2018. And 2. Approve the unit trust model as the asset and representation model for the Tātou Tātou o Te Wairoa Trust. We'll now have questions and answers. Before we do, we have the following ground rules. Please respect others and remain quiet so that their partai can be heard clearly. Please identify yourself when you speak so we can record your name. Please keep questions related to the final representation and asset arrangement model. For other matters, please talk to one of your representatives. Thanks for your support, whānau. It's crucial in helping us build a positive future for the iwi and hapu of Te Rohe o Te Wairua. This is the beginning of our new era, and we are so excited and grateful to have you united with us on this journey. Nō reira, from all of us at Tātou Tātou o Te Wairua Trust, ngā mihi kia koutou katoa, tēnā koutou, mauri ora.
Well, thank you, whānau, for listening to our presentation. It has hopefully pulled all your aspirations, visions, and that into one particular model. But just like again, reiterate my thanks and efforts to our trustees that have gone through this process on your behalf to come up to this point to present this to you. They have, we've been meeting, I guess, two days a month, and to pull this work together has been a momentous and a hard slog to get it all together, because we've got some diverse opinions and diverse views that we've tried to cater for in one particular model, because you provided us with that feedback to do that. On the representation issue, you would have seen we're stuck with the current Kāhui type arrangement. We believe the Kāhui model has served our purpose to this time. Also in the Kāhui based model, because that was traditionally what our model structure was, with certain chiefs in charge of certain areas. So we're trying to go back to that kind of original structure we've had with Kāhui, and having them more involved and having them more decision-making power on the ground. Traditionally, all decision-making is kind of centralised around a central entity that controls setting priorities for that, for delivery of services, for investment decisions. So with their representation, that's why we've established Kāhui and want to get that formal legal structure, legal connection with our Kāhui established. We know that those vehicles are being worked well to get us to this point. We were happy to continue on that journey with them, but we need them at the same time as us to formalise a governance structure, be professional, live with us, rather than just a single entity, Tātou Tātou, being upskilled and then kind of moving away from the grassroots and creating a big kind of tall structure with nothing happening. Because that's one of the kind of feedback we had with looking at other PSG models. They've carried on with the Crown typical process, centralised everything, and then kind of started to lose touch with the membership on the ground. So we want to make sure we maintain that connection with the membership through the Kāhui. So our connection with Tātou Tātou is through the Kāhui through to its members. So that's what the vision of trying to maintain the Kāhui structure in place. You've seen also with the representation issue, there is this aspect of independence. We know that coming through the feedback, some Kāhui expressed quite strongly having that option available to them. We've done some modelling, as you've seen in the scenarios, about what does that look like. There's still a lot of work to be done in that space regarding Kāhui and independence, particularly around what does it look like for an individual Kāhui. In the trust deed, you would notice we've separated off individual Kāhui into where their interests lie, so it gives you clearly up front what an individual Kāhui is kind of looking at if they do exit. On an exit, it's only a commercial exit, really, a financial commercial exit. The cultural redress, as negotiated through one comprehensive single settlement, will still sit with Tātou Tātou. So it has to stay together. So Tātou Tātou is always going to be that point of contact for the cultural redress. But in the future, if a Kāhui wanted to go independent, they could take a financial proportion of the settlement with them to do that, and then they can either they would present their kind of aspirations and what their projections would look like, and then come back to that Kāhui membership for a vote. So ultimately, it all rests back with our members at the Kāhui level to make those choices around going independent. But initially, we need to set that structure in place. There is nothing in place for that to occur currently, but what we've come up with is a process by which that can occur. But yeah, so a lot of this decision-making is, I guess, with this particular model, a lot of the decision-making has been kind of pushed down to the Kāhui level. The decisions on what their priorities are in terms of taking the annual distribution and doing projects that will be beneficial for that kāhui. It may be through marae grants, individual grants, health initiatives, housing initiatives, so that's set at the kāhui level rather than tātou itself setting a blanket kind of structure over everyone. This is saying this is what we're going to do, setting those priorities. So different kāhui have different priorities, as you have seen. There's different kāhui on different stages of this journey, so that's why the model is quite broad. Some are starting out, they haven't had trust deeds before. They need to establish those trust deeds to create that formal connection. Others at the other end of the scale have had trusts, incorporated societies. It's just a matter of linking in with the tātou trust as well as creating that connection with their existing trust. So we wanted to make sure we had that full spectrum incorporated into this model. And I think we've done that with what we've proposed here with the unit trust model. So that kind of makes it. And then on the commercial side, you would have seen that what we've found with all the other PSGs, by keeping the money together, the principle intact, that we can get leverage more, we can do more. You would have seen the projections of going independent against staying together. We can make more money as economies of scale and doing that. So that's kind of, in a nutshell. We've also set up the commercial board, looking to set up a commercial board separate to Tātou's board, and we want them to be driving the commercial side. We need good people on those. We need the best people we can find. Because at the end of the day, there's a specialist skill set that some people don't possess, but we want to make sure we can utilise the best people we can get. But at the same time, we want to make sure that our own people are sitting there next side to them. Because part of this is making sure that we can upskill our own by learning off the best. Because that's what another learning came from the other PSGs, was making sure our own people sit there next to the best people you can get, and that can be anyone in the world. So we want to make sure we can lift everyone up from the kāhui level right through, and that will in turn hopefully lift Warrell up, and then you all can move back home. That is the ultimate vision and goal of I guess all the trustees, is to make sure everyone has the opportunity to come back home. Oh, yeah. All right. We don't fight that much. We just have differences of opinion. That's all good. So that's just kind of a general overview from me, but I have further input after any questions and that anyone may have. So I'll open up the floor now for questions and answers, and hopefully we've got our advisors here as well. They can help us with some of these questions you may have. Questions?
Kia ora koutou, ko Francis Lawton Naho. Thank you for coming down today and giving us this opportunity to listen to the information and give us some questions. My question's around the model, because I actually failed to see how it is a collective. You've got 7 kāhui, and you're going to give everyone a bit of a koha to go and work on their priorities. Leon, you talked about how kāhui have different priorities. What if, and I'm thinking it's probably true, our kāhui have the same priorities around health, education. How do we work collectively to work with those agencies? Because I don't see it beneficial going to them 7 times. So if you can talk to me about how we can do that under this model, that would be great.
So with those type of relationships, there are certain things across everything that we're all the same on. That's why we've got tātou still there. That's where we have those collective responsibilities, and in our settlement we've got a lot of relationships, that's stronger relationships. So those relationships are with tātou directly. So it's tātou to manage and make sure that what is occurring on the ground has the built-in structures for that to occur. And through our relationships with those Crown agents, through our social economic revitalisation strategy, the SIRS, for 5 key government agencies. We also got relationships with the councils as well. So we want to make sure that we're not in the way, but we're making sure that we've got an oversight to make sure that it occurs, because collectively together we're stronger to make sure these Crown agencies are delivering. Individually, kāhui going to Crown Nations is not going to work because they don't see them. They see Tātou Tātou because that's the PSG entity, that's the external facing. Now, Kāhui themselves want to do these sort of initiatives together. That's where they need to work together as well as with Tātou Tātou. That's the collectiveness of it. So we're still there as a structure. They still can see up to Tātou Tātou, and then we feed down through our relationships to make sure that those Crown agencies that are, I guess, not delivering, are delivering. Now, with coming with 34,000 members to, I guess, a Crown agency, they'll want to listen more because we have that collective mass, but individual Kāhui themselves are not going to get that traction. That's why we're staying together with the Tātou Tātou. Anything, yeah. Great.
Ki te tapiri atu ki te rā kōrero, the charitable arm of Tātou Tātou will also be doing charitable activities for the benefit of all members of the iwi and hapu of Te Rohe o Te Wairua. So we were asked at the SGM, you didn't want to have 7 whare haura spring up in Wairua because that would not be efficient. And so if you were thinking of having a whare haura which would benefit everybody, that would go through the charitable arm of Tātou Tātou for everyone. Ka pai?
And we also need to look at existing providers in Wairua at the moment. What are they doing? So let's not reinvent the wheel. So it may be better just to work with them, work with the Kāhui, and work together as a collective. We're trying to get working together is the key. Now, that's hard for some Māori to comprehend, working together, but that's ultimately how we're going to make this successful. We'd have done this through the Te Tira Whakiimi times by coming together, working together. It's continuing that journey on into the next post-settlement phase, working together, creating our formal legal structures with the Kāhui, and utilising the benefits from the cultural registry, the settlement to flow through.
Kia ora tātou, ko John Hamlin tōku ingoa. My question is, you've got a process there for overlapping interest between Kāhui. So what is the process for overlapping interest with iwi, other iwi or other PSGs, because I'm also tūhoi. So I had a look at the picture of Tātou Tātou o Te Wairua. I thought, oh heck, they've got the whole land around Lake Waikaremoana, and I'm sure tūhoi and maybe even Ruapani will have something to say about that. So would you negotiate at a higher level, or would you let the Kāhui that's really intimately involved with that part do the negotiations, because that's going to happen. Yeah. And because you're having this broken structure, so my dad was from Wairua, so I think I'm registered with Wairua, with Taihoa, but he was brought up in Yuaka, so, and my grandmother's from Manitai, so I've been thinking about half our family's going to belong to one Kāhui or the other Kāhui, so I'm still trying to decide now which one I'm going to belong to, but anyway, that's...
Well, that's a good decision to have, given the ability to choose which side you want to support, yeah. So it's your choice. That's what's good about this model, is that you make that choice, not for us to tell you where you should go. On the overlapping interests factor, we've got, with relation to Uruwera, we've got a formal agreement that we need to establish with Te Uruwera board. So we need to work through that as part of a work stream that we've been working on, and part of that is gathering our history into Uruwera to say that our boundary was the Huiura Range going all the way over there. So we need to, from Tātou Tātou's perspective, help facilitate those Kāhui as well as Tātou, because the responsibility lies with Tātou Tātou to ensure it occurs, but also make the time to support those Kāhui with that interest to come forward to the front and help us together lead a process whereby we get a formal relationship with Te Uruwera board. But at the same time, as a PSG, we need to work with Turi Taumata as well. We need to do both. And on our other neighbours, we have good, close neighbours working relationship with Pāhuera, so that's not an issue. And with our forest to the north, with Tā Marihiri, we've got a 50% interest in Whareratas, so we just recently appointed our directors onto that company. So it's about working with them and creating structures that we can, I guess, establish joint ventures with. That's on the iwi side, within our own Kāhui, that they need to run through a process themselves to ascertain their interests, and it'll involve a bit of research into areas of interest each Kāhui has. That needs to occur before Kāhui goes independent, so everyone's clear on where those interests lie. But our neighbour, we don't have a lot of rarere with our neighbours. We want to make sure we work with them. There's no good in fighting with one another.
Tēnā tātou. My name's Tania Hotmans. Ki te taha o tōku karaua nō te mahi ahau. First of all, big mihi to the board for getting us to this point. It's not an easy journey. And I also applaud the level of consultation that you've gone through to hear from us as whānau about what we want. That's really important. So, he mihi nui ki a koutou. My question was around, it's a complex structure, and I think I counted about 13 entities in there, and about $250,000 sort of estimated operating costs, which I thought was very optimistic. While there's a desire to put everything in its right place, I'm a little bit, I guess, curious about how we manage all those operating costs, particularly with the kāhui, if they're receiving 300,000 or so per annum in the first few years, to do their mahi and also to grow their own governance, because the stronger our kāhui are, the stronger tātou will be. So, yeah, my question's about operating costs and how we minimise those, because I suspect they're going to be greater than what's predicted. But I'm not financial modelling here, but just my experience. Tēnā tātou.
So basically what we're trying to do with our tātou structure is try and make it as lean and mean as possible. So we're not wanting to duplicate or replicate or create a big overall big structure that's going to limit our ability to do other initiatives. And what we want to kind of keen there on is to make sure that we create a structure whereby it supports the kāhui. So working collaboratively with them to understand what they need in terms of delivery of all their services. So for us at tātou level, through our journey that we've been through the last couple of years, we know that Crown implements a lot of costings on us by bombarding us with consultation with this and consultation with that. So we realise that we need, I guess, a person there to sit there to do this, to be a policy analyst, be a relationship person. Other than those kind of tasks, and we're not going to build a big structure whereby we need a big team of people to run this. We believe that we can get this done quite effectively, and we've been modelling some of the costs, and Lennox may want to explain some of those costs. Around that 1.35 million is what tātou and its operating costs will be. At the kāhui level, they are on a journey to setting themselves up to see what their costs are. So we don't want to replicate, duplication, having 7 CEOs or 8 CEOs. We want to see how we can work together, and that's, as you've seen at the back by that kāhui collective, they're starting to think collectively as well, to see how can we leverage off each other, how can we come to an agreement whereby we can employ someone collectively to do these positions. What the trust has done is to devolve the decision to the kāhui to make, not make it for them. But they will need to make these decisions. That's what's coming. These big decisions at the kāhui level will need to be made. And then working together on it as a collective is a good way to go. But others, we recognise, are further down a journey and want to do some stuff by themselves. So it wouldn't work if we all said this is the structure. So we want to kind of set that pathway to establishment. But we'll pass it to Lennox, and he better explain some of the costings in more detail.
Kia ora. A lot of the assumptions are based on what he said, just based on prudent and tried assumptions by basically going through different, we first looked at the principles, and then we kind of looked at different options that will be available and different roles that might be there. So once we've done all those kind of calculations and put them through kind of the machine or the what the modellers did. We came up with these numbers, and it's based on a lot of other things we've done as well for different groups. So the model that we have is proven and tried, and so that's how we come up with a lot of the costings. So I haven't got the exact detailed numbers we went through, but it was a solid model and something that we've done before. So you can guarantee then that's based on proven assumptions, and yeah, and like you say, it's going to be a lean, mean model, you know, for all. So, but I'm happy to chat further afterwards. Fire.
No. Yeah.
My name's Gal McRoberts. My husband's Bill McRoberts. He's from Putahi Marae in Wairoa. My question, firstly, the lady before, I'd like to add to her a big, huge thank you to the hard work that's gone in to getting this process to where it is. I think there's a lot of people who join in at a late end who have no concept of how much work has gone in, and a lot of that has been to the detriment of your families or whatever else if you've had to put time into things. So a big thank you from everyone as well. My question though, my question though was, we need apparently 75% of people to answer. I think the onus is on us to make sure we get that 75%. To me, that's the first hurdle. And if we can't get over that together, then we've got to work hard and get that done. And I know that we again have to go back to our own whānau and check that everyone that we know enrolled has actually voted. I know that we've coming to this meeting now, we're right down to the last 5 minutes sort of thing, but that's really it, is everyone must make sure that everyone does vote, so you get that 75.
Thank you, and thank you for stressing that point. That was one of my points I was about to make regarding get out, talk to whānau who haven't voted, make sure they vote, get on the phone, get on the Facebook, and encourage them to do so.
Kia ora everyone, my name's Katrina Mannix. I just have a question in terms of the commercials. I probably agree that 250k is pretty aspirational almost, and I'm thinking if you're wanting to run a lean model, I think that probably needs some expertise, and expertise costs, I think. And it's probably important to make sure that if you're setting anything up, you set it up once. And so I think I probably agree that 250 is probably pretty lean. Just in terms of the collective, so I think I agree. I think we do definitely need to get out there and vote yes, because I personally agree that that's probably the way to go, and Tato really needs to stay together. Yeah, it's just that operational, in terms of the expenses, I really do think that's lean. Has that been taken into consideration in the forecasted profits over time? In terms of the running costs, the operational costs, and potentially the increase of that, has that been taken into consideration? It has.
Yeah, I think that 250 relates to a one-off cost of kahui exiting.
Okay. That's
not the ongoing cost for that kahui. It's a lot lower. Depends on what that kahui wants to set as their structure.
Okay.
They may not employ a CE. It may be just in a standard trust as it is with no structure.
I'm probably saying that I think 250 is lean on an annual basis. I think to run this model, you've got multiple people that need to be paid, I think, and remunerated for the time.
That's not Tato's annual cost. It's 1.35 million. It's operating costs.
Okay.
That's annually. That 250 is just a one-off for kahui exiting. That's one-off. They got to pay that cost, so then they can get out. Because there's evaluations, there's a whole lot of legal documents that are drawn up.
Absolutely. So the 1.3 is the collective.
1.3 is Tato's, yeah.
Great.
We haven't factored a model in what a kahui would cost, because we're leaving that decisions. What their annual cost is, we don't know. We're going to leave that to them.
Perfect. That sort of leads to my other point, which was we need to absolutely make sure that we have some money in there to bring in expertise, because I think absolutely let's do it once and not have to revise and do whatever. But thanks. Don't want to hear my voice anymore.
Yeah, so that we kind of envisioned the 450 per annum being their ongoing kahui costs. That's just what's in the model on page 24.
Kia ora tātou e aku rangatira. Me mihi tuatahi ka tika i whai atu i o kupu timatanga e te whanaungi piri. Me ki tō tātou tipuna ki a kupe. Tētahi wā e haere anau ki roto o hokianga nui a kupe, a mea na ngā puhi, no ngā puhi a kupe. Ko tōku whakahokinga e kao, no tātou a kupe. Nā, me whakahuangi pia nei ai. Nā kupe ko tā haunui, na tā haunui ko popoto, ko kura hau pōwaka. Na popoto ko tama whiturere, na tama whiturere ko rotupatu, na rotupatu ko āti hau ko āwhirau. Me hoki anō ki a ruāwharo o tā ki te muwaka. Nā ruāwharo ko rua ka puanui, na rua ka puanui ko rua mitimiti, na rua mitimiti ko nake, na nake ko taua. Ka moia taua i a awhirau, te uri whakaheke o popoto o kupe, ka puta mai ko rapa, ka moia rapa i a moi te kākara, ka puta mai ko rongo mai wahine, ana ko tātou. Nā reira, ka tika me mihi atu ki ngā tohu onamata. Nā kupe ki tōku mōhio, nā kupe i whakaingoatia tuatahi, etahi o ngā maunga o konei, i whakahuangi e koe, te whanga e mea tura. Hoi anō, me miti, me whai atu i o kupu kōrero ki ngā matu hugo te wānei, ko rātou ki rātou, ko tātou ki a tātou. Huri rauna tēnō no tātou katoa, ko maumau kai te maunga, ko waitiro hea pūpūrere ana ki nā nuhaka te awa, ko nā tira kai pāka, nā wharera o te tahi o te rā, ko nā te kahununu, ko nā tirongo mai wahine ngā iwi, ko te wakatapu o tā ki tumu kukurahau po ngā waka. E aku whanaunga tēnā koutou katoa. I'm following that Pākehā whakatauki where you have 2 bites at a cherry. So I went to the special general meeting a couple of weeks ago. And to be honest, at that stage, I hadn't had like most of you, I hadn't had much of a chance to digest what it was being proposed. So I listened to that. I think I couldn't resist making some summary comments. The sum total of which was to remind everyone there, and I'll remind everyone here, that this whole process was not about money. Funnily enough, it was my job as the lead negotiator to go and get as much money as possible. That was actually the mechanical outcome of negotiations. What we were doing here was reconstituting our ability to look after ourselves. Yeah, that was the end point. Yeah. And I want us to remember while we make decisions about money, allocation and all of those things, that the end point of this is how we are in a better position. And I'm quite happy to wait a generation. I've waited a generation already, and I'm quite happy to wait another generation if that's the case. That we are in a position where we can do the things we want to do on our terms, according to who we are, defining and exemplifying who we are as iwi and hapu and people from Te Wairua. And I think the disconnect for me is not so much the allocation model and the unit trusts, is that what I don't see first is what I want to see first, which is I want to see what the vision is for tātou tātou. I want to see what because once we decide what the vision is, and for me it is simple, it's our name, tātou tātou. So the vision for me is the bulk of our activities over the next 25 years are about all of us, not each of us individually. Does that mean I don't think that our strong constituent groups shouldn't have some ability to have their own mana recognised? Of course I do. But all the modelling shows us that it makes sense to stay together. All of our efforts in the last 10 years have shown that actually we got somewhere when we were able to stand together. Is that easy? No, it's hard. As I said when we signed our settlement, whanaungatanga, whakakotahitanga is not easy. The easy thing would be to default it for me to stay at home and not engage with anybody. That would be the easy thing. So working at whakakotahitanga and whanaungatanga is not easy. The problem I have with the unit allocation model is actually not the unit trust model. It's based on what I think is a notion that somehow what's most important is that we have to allocate something. I don't subscribe to that. What's most important to me is what is that outcome I'm getting at the end? What is that thing that's going to happen in 25 years that I'm interested in tribally? That's what I'm interested in. Allocation is only one mechanism to do that. Can I also quickly add that I want to thank all of our trustees here. As someone who's tried and worked possibly successfully otherwise, history will judge me on that, it is not easy to come to consensus. So I want to acknowledge all the people here. It's not easy. I know it's not easy. It wasn't easy getting to our settlement. So I want to acknowledge that. So it's not personal for me. But I am worried that What we now have is a model that's focused, I think, too much on allocation without a plan. So the 5-year plan, I want to see the 5-year plan, actually, because the 5-year plan for me determines what I think the structure should look like. The other parts for me is, with all due respect, I'm quite happy. As I said, it is about us reconstituting the ability to look after ourselves. But I want some guarantees as a member that the organisations that are going to be given resources are capable to handle them, have the required competencies, have the required checks and balances, have simple little things like regular elections. Yep, simple little things like that. And I want those assurances. And actually, in terms of allocation, I'm quite happy to park allocation until those things are taken care of. But they all link to what is the plan. And I think one of the big things, which on the one hand, I'm reasonably agnostic to the unit trust model. It is what it is. It's a kind of mechanism which gives everyone a little bit of a share. What I'm most worried about is we've now moved to a situation where individual kāhui have the ability on their own terms to exit without some kōrero with the rest of us. Now, that's not about holding everyone into the same corral, but when people exit, those things have implications on all of us. And I'm worried that what we've done here is we've shifted from a situation where that exit had to be negotiated amongst all of us as whanaunga to now individual kāhui who get 75% of a vote, which may be as small as 100 people, depending on what our special general meeting parameters are, make those kind of decisions. Am I saying that I don't recognise the individual mana no tua whakarere of our constituent parts? Of course I do. I'm not trying to take that away from them. But we all came together over 10 years ago, and some of us over 20 years ago, to go on this journey. And I think we should labour over these decisions moving forward. They should not be easy. And as I said, can I say again, this is not about our initial trustees. I think our initial trustees have gone away and faithfully in 2 years tried to work at something that I'm sure driven them batty. And I want to acknowledge that. But I feel obliged on this side, now that it's taken me 30 years to finally get rank and file membership in the iwi. So I want to stay on this side when I'm not asking the questions. That's my biggest concern, is that I want to know what the plan is first. And the plan is, what are those things that we're going to be able to touch in 25 years that my mokopuna are going to be able to touch, that give them some pride about being from Te Wairoa, that give them some sense of history, that actually help, that are able to fund them to go into university, to help them build their homes, to do whatever it is that we at the end of the day decide to do. And that's what I find hard, because all of my decision in this process is locked into one decision: vote for the unit trust model, which I said in many regards I don't have a problem with. I do have a problem with how I think we've reduced the threshold for people to be able to exit. I'm not comfortable with that. And I'm not comfortable with that both as a member of a kāhui, actually more than one kāhui, but also as a member of Te Wairoa. I'm not comfortable with that. And that's not about taking things away from people. But I think all the scenarios in that show that the best thing we can do is actually stick together. That might be a hard road, there might be a road where there's some ups and downs. The other thing that does give me faith is that the last round of consultation was very clear from all of us. You must stick together, you must have a model that keeps people together. That was our very clear feedback. And I worry that in the middle of this, there's some detail here that may unravel those things. Kia ora tātou.
Kia ora, John, and thanks for your kōrero. I'll just acknowledge that, yep, John is right. He's brought a perspective that we've heard loud and clear through the round of engagement. And also at the other end too, we've heard another perspective about kāhui independence. So as we said, for us to try and stitch something together by having that diverse kind of range has been difficult to say that this is what we're going to go with. But we've provided a kind of a structure with the unit trust whereby those decisions are back in your hands. Okay? So a kāhui independence is back in your hands. So if you're registered with a particular kāhui that's going down that process, then you would be engaged as a special resolution. You would need to vote on whether that occurs. Now, for that to occur, there's a whole lot of tick boxes that need to occur to do that. All your overlapping interests, other kāhui needs to be sorted. Who your hapu are, so if you've got a hapu that's in multiple kāhui, you need to sort all that out. And then you need to do a lot of financial projections to say that the tātou model is not going to deliver. What can you do differently that's going to deliver? And you were seen in the presentation with scenario 2, it doesn't deliver if you go independent. And that's why we've left that decision to you to make, not for the trustees to make it for you. Because a lot of people were looking for the trustees to make that decision, to stop people from going, keep forcing everyone to stay together. But providing a process whereby you could exercise that, hey, it could mean that even your annual distributions you put back into tata tata. So it gives you that flexibility, starting with, I'm not going to, as a kawi, take an annual distribution. I'm going to invest it back in. I'm going to increase my units in the unit trust model based on a KiwiSaver type approach. The more you put in initially, the more you get out at the end. And then not get out until 20, 30, 50 years down the track. Rather than taking a little bit out front, you stay together as a collective and then get out when the pot has got bigger. You get more of the pie. That's what the financial modelling says. So, but we needed to make sure that we had something that incorporates that. And John talked about five-year strategic plan and vision. That's our next role. Well, that's the incoming trustee's next role, to set that. That five-year vision and five-year strategy that we need to implement, we're coming back to the members next year to present that, to make sure you have feedback into that as well. But we need to gather what everyone's thoughts are, what we've done with the model, and then work on what's the way forward, making sure that our five-year strategic vision is going to align with the Kawi's. Because at the same time, it's about collectively everyone lifting, having the resource, making sure that they've got the right process in place, and that's why we've used our lawyers to establish their trustees. So there wasn't multiple trustees on different various levels. It's all been set to one kind of standard across all the kawi. And if a kawi is not performing and it's not delivering what it should be, then the bare minimum we've said in our trustee is we could refuse an annual distribution if they don't have an AGM, if they don't have a set of audited accounts, and if they don't run a prescribed trustee election. So we've put some kind of minimum steps in there to prevent if a kawi is starting to kind of go down a path that it shouldn't be. But at the same time, it's for you to get involved with your kawi, to make sure those things don't occur. We want to make sure those kawi have got the best people that they have access to back home, coming back home to help those kawi support. Now, for the kawi back home, it's for them to make sure that those people are welcome back and can contribute to the kawi. It's all about lifting the kawi up at the same time, making sure that they have got the right personnel in there at the governance level, because we realise that this is to be successful, this will need good governance at the kawi level as well. They are key to this. This is the key aspect of this model is the kawi. Tata Tata is just an external vehicle, or a collective vehicle with an external face, presenting a collective approach on collective issues and collective matters. What we heard through engagement was a strong kawi voice. And you said kawi was the preferred model for your representation. Now we've had to come up with some kind of formal structure whereby we recognise those kawi on a legal plane, but at the same time giving them some opportunities to make some decisions. So they're going to have a rocky road as well. And that's the risk John's talking about. By keeping it together, collective, by a single entity, you have confidence. And that's what we're trying to give the kawi a little bit of leeway to learn, to make some mistakes. Because that's the only way that we're going to uplift the whole of Wairoa, if they are having the ability to go down some of these paths. And they're all not going to make perfect investment decisions or perfect priorities and perfect things, but as long as we can support them through the process and through a journey, then that's what we originally set out to, was to reconstitute our iwi, hapu and whānau back home, to make sure that they were uplifted and part of this. Commercial stuff. I thought I would have got more commercial questions, but the commercial board and what best person for type approach. That's all. Everyone's key. That's been a key learning. Get the best people in there. Small board, 5 with one based in Wairoa, separate to our board, but they come up with the strategic investment priority objectives. SIPO, they set that, and then the board will approve that off. So and then they go off and invest. And when we talk about maximising the returns on the settlement, we're not just talking about making loads of money. We need to balance that up with our social, cultural, environment priorities to make sure none of that's been being addressed at the same time.
Kia ora everyone. My name is Raima Haronga. I sort of whakapapa everywhere in Wairoa, but when we had to register we had to choose one. So I'm with Ngāti Rākai Pāka. My question, we get all this money and it's with tātou, it sits there, does it earn interest? Okay. After our 5-year plan, well, not so much the plan, but if kāhui want to withdraw after 5 years, does their share of the interest go with them?
Yep. So basically, their units, they've got allocated units, and that units are tied to the value of what's in the quantum currently. So if they were to go independent, they would take their share of what the pot is at the time of their exit. Yeah. So it's in the trust deed. It has already specified what the individual units are, and those units will grow depending on the next 5 years and what decisions they make. They may take their annual distribution, or they may leave the income in there, annual distributions in there, in which case their units increase. It'll increase. We're going to start it at 1/7 equal, but every year it's not going to be the same, because different kāhui will make different decisions on what they want to do. Now, preference is that everyone keep it in the middle. Now, all the kāhui invest back in. They leave the money there. That's what John's point is. So then that pot grows and grows. And then when they've got capability, the likes of using the money of TPK, MBIE, MPI, for building up their own capability, use the Crown money to do that. You know, governance programs, all those kind of structures, use their money, not your own settlement money, to build your capability. And then when you've got your capability run, then you can start looking at taking an annual distribution and setting in your priorities and what you want to do in terms of aspirations. But as I said, we need to build the capability first. Yeah. Some have started out on this journey without even a formal structure. So we've got kāhui at that stage. And I respect others at the other end. They have a structure, and they have had a structure for a long time. But that structure needs to fit with our current structure, so to create that formal. But they need to prove. Everyone, kāhuis are on notice as well, to make sure that they get their 5 annual plan, all their annual documents, have all their structures in place, particularly if they want to go independent. Because if a kāhui not got any of that in place and wants to go independent, then it's all about the money. Now, where's their vision? They haven't got anything written down. They just want to get independent, take the money and run. But I have trust in our members to participate in those processes if they're seeing that happen and occur, and step up and rise up and prevent that. So I've got full confidence in everyone in doing so. What's up? What's up? Wake up.
Ko Danielle tōku ingoa, ko rongo mai wahine tōku iwi. I want to strongly tautoko what my friend over here had to say. And so in light of that, just have a question around, when we vote on this model, is there a period of time where the model will be evaluated to see if it's working for us? And is there a period of time after that where we might have an opportunity to review it and decide on another one if we find that it's not working?
Yeah. So I guess that there is a built-in revision period, 5 years. Yeah. So within the first 5 years, we look at get someone in independently to review it and come in and make some changes. That's standard with the trustee. So yeah, it's built in. So everyone understand what the DSPs and RFR properties are. We didn't have Crown didn't have a lot of properties left in Wairoa when John negotiated the settlement. So it was basically a cash-based settlement with relationships. So we said, well, with these handful of DSPs and RFRs, we'll let the kāhui have the initial kind of say on whether they want them or not, rather than tata looking at more of a commercial lens and cultural lens. We'll leave them, the kāhui, to say whether they want them or not. And it's through tata that they express an interest that tata commercial board would buy. So, and if they don't want to buy it, then obviously it goes to our commercial board to make that decision. But So we've got the next 2 years, all these properties that deferred selection run out. There's a time period on when we need to make a decision. So by having that built in, then these are also decisions for the Kawi to make about using some of their units, because you're not getting a property for free here, the Kawi. They need to use some of their units. So there's, again, a decrease in their units if they wanted to acquire some of these properties. So they need to make, again, more decision making at that Kawi level around investment, what the vision is for, what assets they want as part of it. But the relationship stuff, that's through tātou to the Kawi. We need to make sure that there's a process whereby anything comes to us that's in a particular Kawi's area exclusively, that it can go to that Kawi to make those feedback and decisions regarding those particular cultural redress. Evan.
Kia ora tātou. Evan Nathan Aho. I'm not a member of Tātou, but I have an interest through my wife. And the question I have is around the commercial companies and the directors.
Yep.
Now, if I heard it right, every 2 years they are replaced. And if that is correct, would it not be advisable to have a rotation so that you've got continuity?
Yeah. Yeah. So what we decided there, the first set of directors are going to be appointed for 2 years, so it didn't align with the trustee election process. So first set of directors in for 2 years, then the next set of directors are in there for 3 years. So at the commercial side, we're looking for the best people. It's not about continuity. The continuity sits with the trustees. We're trying to maximise.
Sorry, I meant if you're changing all of your directors simultaneously, that's what I meant about continuity, is retaining some continuity and institutional knowledge instead of throwing everybody out and then bringing a new 6 in or whatever.
Yeah. So we would want to throw everyone out if they're not making the correct decisions. So we need to create that flexibility in there to ensure that we keep the good ones and are able to get rid of the ones not performing. So by hard coding says at certain times we have to change directors, just limits our ability, the trustees here, to make a decision around their performance. Because at the end of the day, we don't want them telling us what to do, the tail wagging the dog. We're in charge of them, the trustees, because we appoint them. And we need the ability to hire and fire them if they're not performing, because at the end of the day, this whole unit trust model sits with their accountability will sit with the trustees. So it's the trustees that are taking the brunt of it, and if it's not performing, the Kawi can exercise their independence. So it's best that the trustees perform, make sure they've got the right people on the right time at the commercial board, earning those annual distributions to ensure that everyone stays together. So if we want to have that flexibility, it's more for continuing on a governance level that rotation should occur rather than at the director level, because we want the best people there at every stage. Trying to think in my head. No other good further questions? I'm just trying to run through my head the different presentation notes we had here to make sure we covered all some of the key important things. But yeah, I think we've had a good discussion, questions and answers. If there's no further questions, then please ask any of the trustees or our advisors here today if you have any specific take in relation to some of the detail. We're here to hang around and answer those for you. But again, I'd just like to acknowledge everyone for turning up, acknowledge the work that we've put into this, that everyone else has acknowledged as well. It has been a journey in itself, and it's been, I guess, one that we're quite grateful that we've had to look at and go through. It's taking a look at it, at what could best achieve this. Hopefully it gets everyone in there, but some may be unhappy because it hasn't gone too far one way, one other way. But we need to make sure that it's flexible enough, and if it's not going to work, then we can at least do a review further into the future. So, thank you. If there's no further questions, then bye-bye. We'll get Piri and Bubby to close our
probably one of the most important statements to make is the 26th is Monday, and it's noon, 12 noon, not 12 midnight, 12 noon is when voting closes. And so we're reliant upon you, as we have with the hui that we've passed, and o tautahi tomorrow, is to appeal to you, kei o koutou te mana, te whiriwhiringa kai he rā tata. And it's through you and through the whakapapa, through whanaungatanga, that this final decision sits. And ko tā koe mihi kia koe rai e hone, te tika, te kaharai tō pātai mai. Recently, just as a bit of a story really, and it's about how important vision and strategy and the fulfillment parts are in terms of where we're going under Tātou Tātou as a collective. What happened was I recently started a new role up at Hawke's Bay Regional Council, and they said, can you send us a photo? So I sent them this photo. And there's me and there's my moko. And they came back to me, it was Hawke's Bay today, that says, oh, can we cut your moko out? And I said, why, kare? I says, no. I says, but let me tell you about the photo and what it means. Is that when I look at the world as it should be, that I look through the eyes of my moko. Kai tōna whatu. Aye, and so that's setting a couple of generations out. But what we do, time in, time out as people, is we make decisions that suit us today. Whereas if we made decisions about what the world should look like for our moko, then that would change our thinking and the actions that we carry today. Pēnā no tata, kai runga ki tēnei waka. To see the world through the eyes, ka whatu, i o tātou nei mokapuna. And the decisions we make, the actions we take today would be a wee bit different. And that's where we are. And what a wonderful opportunity it is. But kia o koutou tēnā. Hoi anō timatahia kai runga te tuku whakamoimiti ki o tātou nei kaihanga. And before I pass to Bubby to close with our karakia, can I say these words to you? As you leave here, and as you destine back to perhaps your next hui, or to catch the tail end of the Santa Parade, Hana Koko's got nothing on the opportunity that we have today. And might I say to us all, as we travel south, and as you travel to your own tatatau o tō whare, ki ngā whitanga i tā koutou whāna, that may the calm be widespread before you, may the winds favour you, and may the path ahead glisten like that of greenstone. And may the shimmer of sun light up and dance across your pathways as you move speedily, swiftly ahead. And may your constant companion be peace and goodwill to all whom you encounter. Kei tā koutou rōpū tēnei, e tuku atu tēnā mihi, ki o koutou katoa, tātou tātou te wairo.
Auwe, tātou tātou e, tu te mai nā iwi, tātou tātou e, pai atu marama tama, me te aroha e ngā iwi, kia ko tatahi, kia ko tahira, tātou tātou e, tātou tātou e, kia kia mau, kia uhi.
Kia ora rā, me inoi tātou. Te māngai ngāna hera pono e te tukuturu tapu. Whakuingia mai tō koutou arohana noa ki runga ki a mātou. Pai here te anō mātou ki te rangi māori ngā wā katoa. Ko te māngai hei tautoko mai, ai anei āke nei ai. E hoa ngā mana motu e tamo e rua tapu me ngāna hera pono. Whakapai a mātou kai, hei whāngai a tinana, a wairua, o tātou i roto i tō koutou kororetanga, te matua, te tamata wairua, tapu me ngāna hera pono. Māngai hei tautoko mai, ai anei, āke nei, ai. Kia ora rā tātou.
Tāria.